Hello, everyone. I'm Christina, and I know it's been almost a couple of weeks. Please forgive me. A lot going on days, even in my personal life, but I'm always around. Always good to see you guys again. So, as prophecy has warned us in the past, there would be a war in heaven. Revelation 12, by the way, and the woman of the apocalypse is a last day sign, and it says there's a war in heaven and that the devil is cast down to the earth. And it was like, cheers for heaven, but woe to the earth and the inhabitants of it, right? And whoa, look what's going on earth for real. Okay, we are getting to that point where we are tightening our belts. And I want to welcome everyone that's already here, everybody that's coming in, and I want to welcome everyone that will come after. I hope that you like and subscribe, share the videos, and of course, I always love it when you guys comment. So, hello, James Male from Waco, Texas. It's good to see you, brother. Hello, Ann. Great to see you, girl. Oh, I love you. You guys are here. Thank you for the thumbs up. Thank you, guys, already. So let's see what's been going on. I'm going to start at the top of my notes. Oh, first, I want to encourage y'all to just look at the description box. There is a link to a backup channel that I have just in case anything ever happens to this channel. All right. So obviously everyone is going to have to start growing their own food. Going to have to get creative. Remember, necessity is the mother of all invention. That's what it is. So we're going to have to get creative there. If there's a will, there is a way, but everybody's going to have to start growing and learning what's in their terrain that grows naturally, seasonally, whatever. But as the days are getting harder, we'll see who will rob, murder, and steal versus those who will rise up in glory. The masks are going to start coming off because what we're seeing, all that we're seeing, especially what we're going to talk about here, is in fact prophecy and signs of the last days. All right, on April 18th, Gravitas reported that solar flare caused radio blackout in Asia and Australia. And they said it won't be the last. Then, a week later exactly, on April 25th, the internet went down for 5 minutes across America. Not everybody suffered it, but a lot of people, including myself, did. And that same day, Verizon was also having issues, okay? We're having these CMEs come in, but we had talked about this on my channel before, that because we were going through a magnetic pole reversal, that we would eventually start having grid issues, computer problems, phone problems, internet issues. And we're seeing those very often. And it's easy to blame it on the sun every time, but I know that the sun is also being affected by this twin solar system that is in our neighborhood. All right. So it also, we've also got this thing because of this twin system. We have Krakatoa volcano erupting near Indonesia, and it spawned a tsunami warning in that area today. It sure did. So everything that we're seeing, even with like these food scarcity issues, it's all like that show Seconds from Disaster. It's always a chain of events, not just one thing. And we are looking at the chain of events that the prophecy in the Bible talked about, famines. Now we see how it happened, that when it comes, earthquakes, all of that. Okay. Now everybody's talking about food shortages and rationing, problems at the grocery store, farmer testimonies, expiration date tampering, farm cyber attacks, airplanes falling out of the sky and hitting these food processing plants, as well as regular food processing plant fires just happening. Lots and lots of them, especially since this year began, apparently, while they're killing our chickens. But there have also been a lot of warehouse fires. And I just went ahead and typed in warehouse fires just for the last month, and you wouldn't believe how many I saw. Okay. I still haven't forgotten Amazon's warehouse fire not that long ago, but I thought it was interesting because the first story that pops up says no, food plant fires aren't attempt to create food shortages. That's the first article, first thing that comes up. Okay. And the article is actually written 5 hours ago by PolitiFact. Now, some of us may be inclined to be suspicious. Some of us will believe that article outright. The truth will wash out in the end, but I was just saying, oh my gosh, that's the first article that comes up. Let's check the chat real quick. Hi, Micah. Love you, son. Mwah. Oh, that's wonderful. No, that's great, Micah. Awesome. Hello, AA Strumming, elect of the End Times channel. Save any and all plastic containers, USA. The must starter plants, then transfer to ground or garden box. Yes, you can use these plastic containers for a lot of stuff. Hello, Earl. Keith. Alrighty. Okay. Said hello to everybody so far. All right, let's go on with these warehouse fires, okay? 1 day ago, Walmart facility destroyed by fire to close permanently. 1,100 may lose jobs. 23 hours ago, fire destroys warehouse building at Paynesville Township Nursery. Crews worked to put out Sacramento warehouse 2 weeks ago. Warehouse fire in Northeast Miami-Dade 2 weeks ago. Maybe that's the same one. Alrighty. San Juan fire, warehouse fire under investigation from March 31st. East El Paso warehouse fire destroys food trucks. Warehouse fire. These buildings are dangerous, abandoned. Oh, firefighters battle massive warehouse fire in Queens, March 30th. Warehouse fire in the Gulf Gate Riverview Pine Valley area. Okay, this is all just within the last month. Warehouse fire after warehouse fire, but we don't need to worry about it because the first article says no. Food plants aren't an attempt to create food shortages. Okay, so nothing after this, none of the articles mean anything. There's no conspiracy, no coincidence, obviously, right? Okay, all right. Hello, Diana Gillespie. So good to see you. Oh, such pretty flowers. Love those. I love those. Alrighty, so we are going to talk about some of the things we've been seeing in the grocery stores. The dried food went up because I've ordered some, and like the next week, it's all double. Okay, I just ordered a couple weeks ago, got it, and everything is like pretty much doubled. The canned cat food, almost non-existent here in the North Houston area. I found some at Walmart, but the dollar store, not a single can, and I'm talking for like weeks. And Kroger, it's iffy how much you might find there every time I go week to week. I'm grabbing the last item off the shelf a lot lately. I'm starting to see more battered and bruised products, but it's the very last of them on the shelf. There's nothing behind it. Okay. Canning jars and low beans, no generic pastas, what some people were reporting on Poplar Preparedness. Canning jars, low beans, no generic pasta, brands that people have never heard of. Even my son, he experienced that, like with some beans. High prices for smaller quantities. I'm definitely seeing that. There's lots of holes in most departments except produce and cheese, and that's around my area. The battery that I had on here with a link last year saying, hey, I have a feeling about power outages, come and get this battery. It was $500, but it had a $250 coupon. That $250 coupon is no longer there. So that battery is straight up $500. It has doubled in price. And that has happened recently because I check on that, at least once a month to make sure the price is what it is. And it's definitely not $250 for that 600 watt anymore. No, everything is going up. All right. On April 25th, I walked in because I needed some eggs, and it freaked me out because usually when I need to get something at the store, it's there. But this time, I mean, no eggs, none were at the dollar store, and hardly any milk, no half gallons. I mean, there's hardly any. A lot of holes in the store as far as the food goes, especially the food, actually. But I finally found a lot of eggs at Kroger, thank God, today. And this is my receipt. 15 items for $50, but I ended up getting it for $46 because I had $4 in coupons. That's right. You got to keep couponing these days. $4 even, but it was still $50 for 15 items. Okay, seriously. And I was using coupons. All right. Just want to let y'all know. Oh, yeah. The eggs for large eggs, $2.19 for the dozen. Some little bitty beef sausage links for breakfast by Eckrich. There's these little packages. It was $3.79 a package. That was gravy. My little kitty, one of them. And for just some sandwich meat, little bitty thing of sandwich meat, $3.29. Okay. Lemon juice, it used to be like I think $2. It's $2.49. Okay, and just a bottled juice or whatever. But everything has gone up. $50 for 15, and lots of holes in the stores. And people, I mean, the UN's talking about it. Everybody's talking about. I mean, like the biggest organizations, the farmers themselves, the people that order for these places like Walmart and Kroger's, they're all saying, "Hey, this is coming," and we're starting to see it, and it's everywhere. Gas is $6.09 here. I think ours is around $4. I think it is still, but I mean, around Houston, $6.09. That's a lot. Diana says I'm keeping track. I have 27 fires, planes, explosions on food warehouse, feed mills, fertilizer plants. Yeah, Diana, just try warehouse fires. Just type that in Google. You might maybe find a couple that you didn't see before. But yeah, that is definitely some information that is important to have to keep up with. But don't worry. This is not a conspiracy to starve us to death, right? Because that article said so, obviously, right? Hello, Jen Crocker. Welcome. My grocery bill is right at $300 a week, not counting my animals. Just for the month of April, this can't be right. I used some of my fuel points, but it says I've spent $250 so far, and I know I'll probably end up spending more. But that's just at Kroger's. Like I said, I get some food at the dollar store too, so it's probably closer to around $400, a month for my groceries. $3.69 in Waco, says James. Alrighty. Yeah, everything. Micah says, even my friend doesn't care about prices going up, but he started to care when he couldn't find his kids' food on the shelf anymore a week ago. See, and I've been hearing about that baby formula too. So this is a lot of what we were prepping for. This is what we were getting ready for. And we know that we're going to find out who people really are, meaning not just the people around us, but ourselves. We're going to find out what we're really capable of, because we're going to have to rise up and to the occasion. We're going to have to stay strong with our faith in God. We're going to have to hold on for dear life is what we're going to do on to God, right? And, I've kind of feel like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, we're about to go into this fire, right? And God may will it that we die, but he might will it that we be saved. But either way, we're going to hold on to our faith in God. We're going to stick with him. It's going to be tried. You see what I mean? We're going to end up with him, whether it's a lot of us, die naturally. That's just been the natural order of things since the dawn of man. It's just a matter of how or when, really. And some of us might get raptured. Okay. But in the meantime, we've got to have our minds and our souls ready for anything, to really be able to stand firm in the times when things get worse, because it's easy to praise God in the easy times, but you're going to have to dig down. You're going to have to dig down deep. You know what I'm saying? This is a very special time for people in history. This is a very special time. Okay, moving on. We've got these, in the meantime, this is also prophetic. In the last days, all this was talked about. Okay, these are the headlines besides the food that's going on. Putin and Abbas. Abbas has to do with, Palestine. They were discussing the latest situation with the West Bank and East Jerusalem, which means that's talk about dividing Israel. Next article. When blood spills on Passover and Easter, it's time to build the temple. Another last days prophecies to build the temple. Well, Christina, we are the temple of God. Okay, there are billions of us that are temples of God. That's true. But there are also actual temples. And the one in Jerusalem was an actual physical man-made temple, as will this one. Okay. The measurements, they're there for a reason. Okay. So that's last day's prophecy. And here it is in the news. Oh, blood spills on Passover. It's time to build that temple. Begley reports rumors that Putin is gripped with a painful battle with cancer. Tweet from Secretary Anthony Blinken on April 19th. Good to speak with Palestinian President Abbas today to discuss de-escalating tensions in Israel, the West Bank, and Gaza. We discussed the need for calm to prevail, as well as the U.S. commitment to the Palestinian people. See, again, they're not outright saying it, but they want tensions to decline for a while so that they can fake this peace, so that they can get the land that they want. Do you understand? Because it's not going to end up being a one-state solution. It's going to be, Israel is going to be divided up. Okay? Then Putin demands an old church in Jerusalem. Biden comes out in the news, is planning a trip to Israel in the coming months. Really? Israel boosts security around Prime Minister Bennett after a death threat. Ukrainian war may cause Palestinian food shortages. U.S. warns UNSC. Next article, headline is Arab League calls on UN to promote Israeli-Palestinian peace process. So behind these food shortages and these problems with the earthquakes and everything that's in Matthew and the four horsemen, right there in prophecy also was all this stuff going on with Israel. That's in the news at the same time. It's like blowing my mind. I mean, these were the main two headlines for the last 2 weeks. Is everything being kind of revolving around Israel, Russia, and food shortages, food rationing. We all know it's coming. We all know it's coming. And in the middle of this, there was this guy named Chris Reed comes out and had this dream, which I thought was very interesting. Okay. Hello, Stone the Crows. Yeah, Adrian's here. Hello, I'm so glad to see you, Adrian. I haven't missed anybody. That's good. Yeah, we are, right? Very exciting times. Very, very, because I know I've been prepared for this my whole life. And I know some of the things that are coming, and I'm talking good things, some of them like more miraculous things. And so it's like God's working. Y'all don't see the whole plan, but he's in control. I mean, he's really got this all under control. We just got to control our emotions and, do what we can. But anyway, I wanted to go over this dream real quick, real short. And by Chris Reed. He said that he was having a dream. A man was tearing a $50 bill in 3 different stages, and he felt like it was a $50 bill for 50 states. First, he tore off a third of the $50 bill, and he gets some headlines coming his way. The dollar drops 30% in value. Mideast strikes deal with China instead of the US. And what's funny is countries are already doing that. And I think China was actually working on a deal last week with one of the Mideast countries over oil and using the ruble, if I'm not mistaken. That was last week. Another article headline came up called "The Perfect Storm: Inflation Reaches a New High." Next headline: Food shortage crisis as wheat and bread imports are at a stalemate. Next headline: Riots and civil unrest as citizens demand entitlement checks, which reminded me also of what Shane Warren said, and I think they happen to know each other, if I'm not mistaken. But when they say entitlement, first thing that came to mind was like EBT food stamps or your social security checks or even possibly this year's tax refunds. Okay, where are my entitlement checks? Where's the money that I'm owed from the government, right? Next, the man tears the $50 bill in half. I'm assuming what's left of it. The headlines come. Earthquake happens underfoot. Next headline: Israel-Palestine two-state solution reached. So notice that the earthquake and the two-state solution reached are together. Okay. Major earthquake, next headline, hits the middle of the U.S. All right, so that would be next. Then he starts tearing the bill into little pieces one by one. America in pieces. More states secede from the nation in rebellion to the federal government. U.S. military takes charge as uncertainty looms over the federal government. Took out a new $1 bill that looked like a phone. Digital currency, because it'll be on your phone. New currency for a renewed nation. Next headline. Last headline: simplicity restored as Americans grow their own food again. And what have preppers been telling you for years? Grow your own food, right? Grow your own food. Hello, Calico. Much love to you too. Okie doker. Let me see. Judith, I'm sorry about that. I'm glad you're here. I'm really glad you're here. UBI people will have to take the mark to get it. Earth floor lifted 350 feet yesterday near Indonesia. I think it was yesterday. Yeah, because they had some kind of tsunami warning. And see, these plates are moving all over the planet. All over. It's it's winding up. It's winding up for that. I mean, even in, what was it, the sixth seal case? So if we're in the first four horsemen, then we'd have the fifth seal next, the fifth seal martyrs. And then the sixth seal is where they have a really great big earthquake accompanied with a blood moon, right? It's coming. It's coming. It sure is. Adrian says, actually, Israel just added the yuan and a couple other currencies to it, banking reserves. So see, we're well on our way to our money being worthless, basically. We're going to have to trade goods, learn some skills, or put these skills that you have to good use. We're going to have to work together. Gracie ate a $10 bill a few years ago. We laminated what was left of it as proof. That's so funny. I paid with a taped back together dollar bill the other day. I didn't realize it was in my purse until I went to, pay with money. And I was like, oh, here, here's this taped dollar bill. They just took it. That's a funny story you just had. We've got so many changes. And this tells me one thing. Well, it tells me a lot. Okay, we are definitely thick, neck deep in last days prophecy. But considering how things are getting, I really just I've been feeling like we've got to get into physical shape. We've got to start taking better care of ourselves and get our bodies looking more fit because we don't know what we're going to have to endure soon. Okay. I actually did a light workout for the first time in a while yesterday. I took some leave today because I'm definitely sore, but I have like a pretty bad back injury, so I had to use the workout that would really work those muscles out, for me without hurting my back. So they're out there, they're pretty good. And I mean, plus there's my age, I'm 46 years old. I'm getting up there in age, so things hurt. I think I've even got like some arthritis in my left shoulder. Yeah, So you do what you can, but I think it will be important because we're going to need all the strength that we can muster to get through a lot of this. Wow, Pina, 60 minutes daily. You're a champion. I would have to work up to that right now. I used to be an athlete, but then I got sick, lost like everything. I mean, like I was just nothing but bones. Looked like a Holocaust victim. I was starved almost to death because I'd been sick. It took me a lot of years to get this weight back, but now I have to turn that into some muscle. I just have to. If I need to run, I don't need it to just completely wear me out right away. I need to be able to have some kind of endurance. And I feel like all of us really should be thinking about that for the future, because we prep all kinds of things, medicine, whatever. We got to make sure this is prepped too. This is prepped. Our hearts are prepped. Our spirits are prepped. You know what I'm saying? I think we should take care of our bodies as much as possible. Metal rod in my neck, 2 screws, in bad pain today. Yeah, this weather will get you, especially if you got them steel rods. Planet 59 hurt even worse than last night. Oh, for real. God has to be your strength. Yeah, mine too. Honey, I can't run either. I do not have I don't have a screws, and no, I still couldn't run. That's just not going to happen. Oh, well, I know that I saw this one exercise. You can like put your hands behind your head and do that with like no weights at all. And it like works this part out. And that's actually one of the things that I started doing. So like different things are hurting. I don't even have the strength for weights yet, which is pretty lame. Well, thank you, Calico. Yes, I am 46. Next January, I'll be 47. Kind of like Herman. Hi, Paul. Welcome. Paul is here too. Well, welcome, Paul. Dan Patch, welcome. Kind of like Herman. Yes. Cats are strange. Cats are, but my cats are actually really cool, Clarissa. They really are. One of them like jumps in my lap, like sits like a little human would, and just cuddles, or like jump up and he'll just hug me. Just things like that. It's just, these cats are pretty. They're pretty cool cats. Time flies like water. It's so fast, right? Well, didn't the Bible, Jesus say he would like shorten the days too? I don't know how that's all going to work, but time does seem to be speeding up. Everything is happening really, really fast. Hello, Pyrotechnic. I'm so glad to see you. So you see, we got the wars, rumors of wars, and peace. But the peace is about Israel. That's all prophetic. Okay. But also I'd had my own vision. I talked about this before in my videos, like actually read you my vision diary, some of the visions that I'd written down over the last years. And this one vision, it's been taking like 2 years to unfold, but everything else has come true except for these last 2 things. And the last thing was while I was at this university and I looked behind me, and there was this like kind of big bin where it's a big donation bin for food to give to these hunger programs, right? And it looked almost empty. Like there was only like a few things in there, like marshmallows and tunas, and like one box of this and one box. Like, but it was a huge bin, but there wasn't even enough to cover a quarter of it at the bottom, and it looked like, I mean, just it. I turned around and I just knew immediately that that was the last of the food. That everything was gone. All right, and so at this point, what I'm looking at is for the food banks to, and they kind of are starting to struggle, but when the food banks go dry, then and that's what comes next. Okay, at some point, that's, I know that we're heading in that direction now, but what happened after that was America was getting nuked. Their people's heads were against their lockers on their knees, in that position. So, that's the way that those are the last two things that have left to happen in that dream sequence. And that's why I've been kind of getting everybody ready. You don't know if a volcano is going to go off, what's going to happen, but the spirit did tell me to get gas masks ready. Okay. And the way that Mike from around the world was talking about what he saw happening in the Gulf of Mexico with his dream, I'm starting to understand why I might need a gas mask. I mean, besides, if a tsunami were to come in the first place, it would hit a bunch of chemical plants. There's all kinds of reasons, all kinds of fires, all kinds of reasons I might need some kind of protection to breathe, right? But if it's ash, because it came out of the middle of the Gulf, you'd need one then too. You don't want to breathe that in. Okay, he's saying it's going to be water and fire. Dude, I wouldn't know that, because anyway, I didn't know the fire. I didn't know the fire was there. And Adrian, Paul, I really liked y'all's backup water system, especially with the article that they were talking about today that Arizona might go dry. And I know y'all are either in Arizona or New Mexico. I think but they're talking about Arizona going dry. I'm just glad that y'all have backup water system, nuclear fallout, all kinds of stuff. I mean, this is where we're headed. Hello, Chris and Alina and Shane Dacia. What are your thoughts on the Lyondell plant closing? I don't have any thoughts on it yet. Not yet. I think that depending, I mean, I can't remember what kind of plant it is. Is it like food or is it chemical? All right, everybody. Martial law will happen at a certain point in time soon. Yeah, and it'll happen around the grocery stores, that's for sure. Yep. So we see this happening. I mean, when you look at the horsemen, famine's in there, death is in there. Okay. That's the opposite of rapture, but it's still going home where you're meant to be for eternity. This right here, this life, this is the testing ground. This is the test. And it just so happens that we're not just living like normal people. No. We're in that generation that is super wicked, which brought on the last days, but we are still in the last days. We are in the greatest war. We're in the middle. We're caught of God and Satan, good and evil. We're here front center, ground zero. Okay, we get to see how all of these prophecies came about. We knew that this would happen, but we didn't know how. How could this happen? Now we can see why a lot of this is out of our hands. This is all God's hands. And it's like with Jeremiah, when he was prophesying that, the temple would be torn down, Jerusalem, he was saying, if you would just repent and go to God and worship God. And that's what we need right now too, because this is, as a people, we have got to repent. We have got to repent as a nation, as a world. We have got to start purifying ourselves. Okay, we do. Diana Gillespie had something interesting. Yes, there was a food bank in Phoenix, Arizona that caught fire March 28th, burned 40,000 pounds of food. Yeah, see, but that's not suspicious, right? I mean, like that article said, no, It's not that. It's not what you think. No, I think it is exactly what we think it is. Chemical. I think there are pluses and minuses with that, but yeah, everything is kind of closing down. It'd be one thing if it was just one plant or one warehouse, once in a while somewhere, but it's warehouse it's all the stores. It's part of a big thing that's near Baytown. Oh, well, talk about Baytown. I was conceived in Baytown. My dad, he worked at a chemical plant in LaPorte until a year ago. We got out of the Army, and that's where he went until he retired. So I know Baytown well. My parents met going to college there. Lee. Yeah, that's Stone the Crows. All right. Gas. David Pierce says gas is $4.65 in Sandy, Oregon. Worse than Noah. Men are pregnant. We're closing Earth's history. Yeah, there's a great purging. That's basically what this war, like God purged heaven, he's going to purge this place too. Everything is going according to prophecy. That's right. Stone the Crows. Shane says Dimitri Duduman prophecy says people will start fighting against the government, then Russia will nuke. Yep. I also liked a lot of things that Chuck Youngbrandt said too. He even talked about Russia and China working together with other countries to knock the petrodollar off its pedestal and go with a different currency to devalue the dollar. And he said that back in like the 80s. And it's happening now. Okay. Adrian says, I don't think that this generation is really going to do much repenting. I think some will and some won't. And I think in some cases where we think some were lost cause, they'll come to God. And also think that some people that we thought were Christians are going to take their mask off, because we're in a threshing, you see, where the wheat's going to go someplace and the chaff's going to go another. It's going to be interesting watching, people's masks, I've noticed, have gotten harder and harder to keep on. If they're not being true blue, if they're not really being their true selves, those masks, they're harder to keep on now. Eating Bill Gates, pork, and bugs. Not me. I might eat some crickets and some frog's legs. I could do that. We can show that. Oh, good. Our moderator's on top of it. There's talk of closing Palisades nuclear plant in West Michigan because they can't find a new owner for it. It's one of the oldest nuclear plants in America. Wow. They got to do that carefully. Yep, Chris. What was good will be bad, and what's bad will be good. We are not popular people, are we? No, we are separate. We are coming out of her. Anne said, someone told me that Nostradamus said a nuclear bomb will be dropped. See, I actually took a good look at Nostradamus's prophecies, and they don't really have dates. No, not like what I'm seeing. Like there was one that was 1999. He did give like that year, but he didn't give dates, and he did do like constellations that might be around. He would say that these might be doing these things at this certain time, but no, hey, May of 2022, or this will happen in July of 2023. So when I see the dates that specific, and I'd read through all these, I'm like, no, a lot of times that's clickbait, or clickbait that somebody's heard. But I would still be curious. I mean, it could happen. It could happen in May of 2022. So I'd actually be interested in at least hearing that out. But I don't remember him saying specifically that, unless he used certain planets. Okay. It's too late for all the people who've already taken the mark of the beast. It is always too late for those who have taken the mark of the beast or that have denied Christ's name in public. If you deny me, I will deny you before my Father. Okay, God didn't give dates in scripture. He doesn't give me dates, just like 2022 liquid poo. he told me, like, in September or something but he said something really bad will happen. But again, no real date, no real, I've never to my memory have gotten like a specific date, about when something's going to happen or exactly what it is, because there are some things that are just meant to happen. There's nothing we can do to change it. Alrighty, y'all. I want to thank every single last one of you who came on today. And today we just got a chance to look at what's going on in prophecy. Now, death is one of those horsemen. Martyrs, fifth seal martyrs, that's next after the horsemen of death. Okay? So things are supposed to get worse. Brother against brother, kingdom against kingdom. Everybody's fighting everybody. And somehow we've got to keep our robes clean in the middle of this chaos. Like I said, stay close to God. Watch the prophecy. It is unfolding. And if you have the eyes to see and the ears to hear, it's clear. Okay. Other people might be blind. They might have scales on their eyes. They can't see. They cannot figure it out. They don't get it. They don't see it. But we do. All right. All right. I love you guys. Thank you so much. And we will talk very soon. Bye.